Good morning from paradise. My name is Crypto Amaru. It is Monday, March 17th. Man, the month is flying by. We're back with another daily rundown where we cover the most impactful news, stories, and current events that are unfolding on a daily basis in the crypto space. We unpack those stories, we analyze those stories for your education and your benefit to try to allow you to make sense of this crazy crypto space that we're all in. I have one story in particular I want to focus on today. It actually comes from a tweet that CZ, the founder of Binance, put out there, and kind of the implications of that tweet and where I actually think alt season is going and where this cycle's going from here. But before we get into all that, reminder that Crypto Paradise is the only channel giving away 3 free nights to Tulum, Mexico. Hit us up if you're in the community and you want to hang out and have a vacation on us. Get your mind off the bear market, hang out on the beach, let us know. 3 free nights are yours. Also a reminder that the Surf token launches, I think soon. The DAO is deliberating, we're voting, we're back and forth on when to launch this thing. It's gonna be fair launched on Pulse Chain, so that takes away some of the risk, but we still wanna launch at the right time and we're letting the DAO decide. Awesome thing in my opinion. All right, so, by the way, stay tuned to the Telegram, X, YouTube for more information on the Surf token. All right, let's dig into today's story. As I mentioned, CZ came out with a tweet where he essentially is criticizing AI agents and the fact that most of them do not need a coin. And I completely agree with him, by the way, but let's just back up and explain what are AI agents. AI agents are essentially coins that are launched by AI, right? They're memes, right, with a character. A lot of times they're launched through this protocol called virtuals. So it's very easy to launch a character with an associated token. It's essentially a meme, right? It doesn't have a lot of intrinsic utility or any intrinsic utility. The AI agent can put out content on X and engage with people on Telegram and stuff like that. But outside of that, there isn't a lot of there. And so what he's saying fundamentally is that not every agent needs its own token. Totally agree with him there. And then the second part of this tweet, I think, is actually the most important thing to unpack. Launch a coin only if you have scale. Focus on utility, not tokens. And I think he's sort of taking a swipe at maybe a lot of the industry, a lot of the altcoin sector within crypto, and saying essentially, hey, if you don't have utility, if you don't have a product that people are using, if you're not generating revenue, people are not using your chain, they're not using your product, they're not using your token, then don't launch a token. And I completely agree with him. If you look at the reasons why most bull markets, peter out and sort of, ultimately they dump into bear market territory, a lot of it has to do with an oversaturation of useless coins. Money grabs that had no business being launched. They had no real meaningful product behind them. Those companies were not generating revenue. They used the token to raise funds and then just effed off. Now, this is not to say this is the case every time. There's a lot of great projects out there that have built real products, have utility for their coin, generating revenue, real teams, long-term vision. And I'll get to that in a second, with the importance of talking about those. But unfortunately, a lot of what goes on in the crypto space, as we know, if you've been in the altcoin game for long enough, is that a lot of these are money grabs. Whether they're intentional failures, projects that were intentionally designed to just, steal your money from the outset, or whether they just failed over time because of X, Y, Z reason. Now, I'm not sure it really matters to the investor at the end of the day because they've lost money in most cases. So I think what CZ's saying is, don't launch a token unless you have utility, unless there's a product, people are using it, and ideally that product is generating revenue as well. That's how I read into that. And so what's the significance of this? So we've just been through a massive crash, a massive correction, and it's cleared out a lot of the dead wood, as it were, in the space. We see Pump.Fund launches have basically dropped to zero. I think essentially no coins are launching on Pump.Fun anymore. Same story with virtuals. Dropped to basically zero. There's no launches going on over there. And we'll talk in a second about where I think the meme world is going. Because I don't think memes are dead, but things will evolve. Right now, the market's looking for a signal as to where are we going next year? What's going to happen with altcoins? What's the next hyped category? What's the sector that we're all going to get excited about and invest our money in? And of course, no one really knows the answer to that specific sector. I think we have pretty good indications out there that RWAs are doing well. AI is going to continue to do well. Maybe a handful of other categories will end up doing well in the latter half of this bull run. But to me, the most important thing to look at when investing in an altcoin, especially now when people are very risk off, is their utility for the token? Is their product or service generating revenue? And even better yet, is some of that revenue used to buy back the token and maybe distribute to investors, something along those lines, right? Perhaps they're buying back and burning the token, taking some out of supply. Those, I think, are going to lead the charge once we finally start to have a bit of a resurgence here, a bit of an uptrend, because people have been burned by the vaporware, the scams, the nonsense bundled memes, and they'll remember this. They'll remember what happened, because it wasn't that long ago. Say we started an uptrend in a few weeks or a month or 2 months, whatever. They'll remember that all got burned investing in a bunch of nonsense type things, and so they'll be looking for quality, a flight to quality. So I think CZ's hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of good projects out there that are still delivering value and still generating revenue. Just took a gander on the top 100 tokens, which is always a fun thing to look at. CoinMarketCap top 100, and you kind of see what are some of the ones outperforming. Obviously, Mantra's done very well. That's an RWA-centered chain. RWA being a hot category, and they're catering to that sector. I took notice in actually PancakeSwap, PCS, their native token, up like 70% or something in the past week or so, despite the downtrend in the rest of the market. And PancakeSwap has always done a really good job of delivering value to their investors by, for example, giving out airdrops from other projects, pre-sale opportunities. They used to do that. They burn a lot of tokens. So they do a lot to boost the value of their token through adding utility to it. There's a lot of speculation that the PancakeSwap team and the Binance team are one and the same, or there's some close relation there. And I'm not surprised, because BNB operates the same, right? With their periodic burns that they do. They're always adding new utilities. Remember going back, BNB when it first launched was just the token you would hold within the Binance platform to get discounts on trading fees. And then they launched their own chain. It becomes a gas token. They do the burns. They're always thinking of new ways to add utility, right? And so I think there's going to be a flight to quality here once the market finally turns around, and investors will be looking for those projects or those chains that have genuine utility, a genuine user base. Sonic's a great example. We just did a video about Sonic, formerly Phantom. They've come out, upgraded their technology very fast, very cheap, and apparently very developer friendly, and people are building dApps over there. A lot of TVLs migrating over there, and the native token is integral to all that. So Sonic's a great example, right? So there's still good projects out there, good opportunities, but to me, it's going to be a flight to quality coming out of this, bearish period and moving hopefully into an uptrend. And so where does that leave memes? There was a lot of speculation that memes would have this sort of quote super cycle that because memes perform very well in the beginning of the cycle, that they would perform well in the second half, that there would be sort of a resistance to investing in projects that have been backed by VCs. I think a lot of that is probably still true, but we have to differentiate between legit memes, community-based memes that are active and care and they're delivering value to their community in different ways versus the money grab bundled tokens. And I just saw another news story that the guy who perpetrated the Libra scam, there's a red notice out for his arrest by Interpol, and yet he's apparently, it looks like based on the on-chain activity, perpetrated another scam. I forgot the name of the token, but it was a quick pump and dump and extracted a bunch of money, 80% supply bundle, so on and so forth. Hayden Adams, or Hayden something is his name. We'll pull up the news story there. But those kind of memes. First of all, they have no place in this space, and I hope that his he gets what's coming to him, and there's justice served at some point, because you can't steal that many people's money and get away with it. But I think those highly bundled, like scammy, quick pump and dumps, that's not what Murad and others are talking about in terms of the meme coin super cycle. They're talking about the community-based memes, the Shiba Inus of the world, the Kai Kens of the world. Shout out to Mellow Man. Those are some of the ones we're involved with that, still grinding it out, daily spaces, raids, still active in their communities and still fostering that sense of community. Those, I think, will come back at some point. But that's not going to happen until much later in this, let's say second half of this bull run. Because remember, memes are a very risk-on sort of investment. There is no intrinsic value there. We know that. It's all based on the community. It's kind of based on the hype, the vibes, the character around the meme, all that good stuff. So it's very hard to value them, get a true value. And when the market's very risk off, memes being kind of the most risky category of crypto already being a risk on sort of sector within investing, and memes are going to be the first to take a big hit, and we've seen that. But I do think when capital comes back in the space, when we're risk on again, people will be looking for those quick gainers and quote unquote fair opportunities. And I think certain memes will do extremely well in that environment, in that very risk on environment. But it's going to take a little while to get there. I don't think that's going to be the first kind of altcoin that people jump back into. I think it's going to be like CZ says, right? It's the utility plays that are going to make a comeback. It could be in the RWA sector, it could be AI, could be a new L1 or L2 that has genuine traction. I'm seeing Barachain do good things, Sonic doing good things. There is a lot of genuine builders out there and projects that have real utility. So I think there's going to be a flight to quality in sort of phase one of this resurgence that we're hopefully going to be seeing soon. And then once the mania comes back, all bets are off, and you'll start to see stupid stuff happen again. I don't know if NFTs will ever come back, but you'll get some trend that, blows up, probably has no reason being so overvalued. Maybe it'll be, hopefully it won't be pumped up fun again, but maybe something like it, maybe the virtual things, who knows, right? Some innovation may come out and take a lot of mind share and market share, and it'll be a product of the mania phase and the fact that there's so much money flying around and people are just looking for quick returns and they overvalue things. I don't think that goes away. Over the long term, my sort of overall thesis on crypto, having been in the space for 8 years, is the cycles don't repeat, but they definitely rhyme, and that's because this market is governed by two fundamental human emotions that never really go away, and that's fear on one hand and greed on the other. When we're in a high fear environment as we are now, it's risk off, no one's investing in anything, everything looks like shit, and hard to make money, everyone's depressed, blah blah blah. But the market starts to creep up, greed starts to come back into play, and all of a sudden you start wanting to invest in these highly risky things. So it'll come back. It'll come back. The mania will come back. Altcoin season will happen, but it may be a little bit more selective. And I think the projects that lead the charge are going to be ones that are providing real utility, delivering real value to their users, and then eventually things will get so crazy that people start to speculate on other things. So that's my take. One final thought before we jump off, thinking about this topic of utility, value accrual and delivering that to investors. That's one reason we wanted to, the DAO, I should say, we wanted to launch the Surf token. We felt like, okay, we can deliver value here. There's an innovative token tax associated with the Surf token. It's launching on Pulse Chain with the help of the PTGC crew. And they've sort of pioneered something called the liquidity web with the token tax associated with it, which what essentially that does is provides an environment for arbitrage traders to speculate and make profits on trading of that asset across multiple pairs, because it'll have like 8 or 9 pairs. Surf token will have like 8 or 9 pairs associated with it. So the arbitrage trading is happening, but the token tax is there, which then creates opportunities to airdrop tokens to holders of the Surf token, to burn the Surf token, to add liquidity back to the Surf token with every transaction, right? And that's what's brilliant about what they've built and why we wanted to do it. Of course, there's also the utility we have with holding it for entering into pre-sales, and we're going to have a lot of other utilities coming as well. So stay tuned for that. We got some events that we're cooking up, and we'll have some Surf token sort of benefits around that. So we're always thinking in terms of utility, long-term value accrual to the holders. So yeah, we're on that same tip that CZ's on. I just want to be clear about that, but I do think flight to quality here in the early goings of this next resurgence that we will hopefully see soon, and then mania phase, all bets are off. So don't fade the memes. I'm not saying the memes are dead and never coming back, but I do think it's going to be ones that are community-based, fair token distribution, not these scammy pump and dumps. Those ones are going to do well when things become risk on again. So yeah, exciting times ahead. Not financial advice as ever, just my opinions. But great stuff from CZ. I think he's dead on. And until next time, guys, we'll see you on the beach.